to why I suspected neurodivergent symptoms and lied to my doctor. So, this is part two. So, in part one, I talked about the symptoms throughout my life in high school and in college and in my adult years. And I brushed over a couple of the reasons, but I didn't go in depth. So, in part two, we are going to go in depth of what of the reasons. I have many, and you guys will know about them as we continue in the series. Today, we're going to talk about um, my uncle. So, one of the main reasons why I lied to my doctor is because, for whatever reason, I I was scared that my family was going to find out and it was going to get back to my uncle. And my uncle is one of those people that he just has the big mouth. He makes fun of things. He makes fun of you. And then he does it on family occasions. He doesn't really do it in front of you when it's just you two. So he's lived with my parents my almost my entire life. And if he's a part of, if he comes upstairs, he actually rents the basement. But if he comes upstairs, he probably won't, say anything to me. I don't remember as a kid in junior high school or in high school him making fun of me um because of something that he heard or a rumor or anything like that. Just him and me together alone. He's coming upstairs, he's grabbing something from the fridge, or I am upstairs doing my homework, or I'm watching TV in the TV room, and he just happens to come upstairs. I don't remember him doing that at all. He would purposely wait until we had a family gathering. And this could be anything from Thanksgiving to Christmas to barbecues, or even just a time where people are visiting, family members are visiting from out of town. I mean, he would just pick the inopportune time to pick at someone and blurt out a secret. So you couldn't trust him with anything. And then he's the kind of person that will label you. So he would say things like, well, she's seen a doctor or a psychiatrist for ADHD or unipolar or PTSD or bipolar, which is some of the things that I have been diagnosed with. So he would do that. And he sometimes when I was a kid, I wondered, does he know, that's inappropriate? You don't just, you know, openly tell everybody about someone else's neurodivergency, something that they're struggling with, something that the word neurodivergent just became popular. We used to say things like disorder or mental illness. So he- I used to think, oh, he doesn't know. But now that I'm older, I realize, yeah, he knows. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's purposely humiliating me and he is enjoying it. And not only is he humiliating me by, well, if I had told the doctor, and then, my mom knew about it, and then she, of course, would tell my aunt, and then somehow it would automatically come out to the rest of the family. If I had, I was scared that he was going to, humiliate me in front of my entire family and then stigmatize me with the word crazy. Who wants to be known as crazy? And I remember when I went off to college, I would still come home. So I was a young adult, and he was still living with, my parents. And when I got older, I moved out for a little bit and then came back home, as some people do, not everyone. And so I was still in the family circle. and I was still scared, right? That, I may say it, a phone conversation may be overheard, my prescription might be lying around the house, he might get a hold of it, and of course, label me as crazy. And when someone labels you as crazy, and then it gets out to your other family members, it really doesn't stop there. People will come back and say, "Hey, are you okay?" And when I say people, I mean my own family members. "What's going on? What medications are you taking?" And those weren't the questions I was prepared to answer. I wasn't prepared to answer them in high school. I wasn't prepared to answer them during my college days, and I just certainly weren't prepared to answer them when I graduated college. And it took me until I was 40 years old to finally get a diagnosis. So that was one of the main reasons I would lie to my primary care physician. And I knew they knew that something was wrong because when I filled out the new patient paperwork, they ask you all of these things. Are you suffering from depression, or do you have suicidal thoughts, or all kind of crazy things they ask you. And then the nurse will follow up and ask me those same questions out loud. And I know that the nurse can see the hesitancy on my face. And I also know that before the doctor comes in and speaks to me, when the nurse leaves, she gives the physician, a rundown, a summary of what we spoke about. So I knew the medical professionals knew something, and I knew that they were trying to get me to open up so I can seek help. I knew it, especially when they would sort of focus in on it. That's when I would get really creative and say, "Oh, no, I'm just under a lot of stress. And the reason why I feel sad at the moment is because my grades are not doing well, or I'm in between jobs, or I'm not getting along with my mom." And of course, they would nod their head like, "Okay, those are, you know, average everyday stressors that could bring something on." And I, of course, the doctor didn't say it, but I knew he knew I was lying. It's as if he was thinking, "Okay, I don't want to push her. I don't want to cross over that line. I have probe all I can, and I can't go any further because she just won't open up." And while I'm in that doctor's office, or every doctor's visit, I should say, every yearly checkup or 6-month checkup, I just wouldn't open up. I just wouldn't tell the truth. And the entire time I was thinking, my uncle is going to tell everyone that I'm crazy. Somehow he is going to find out, and my family members are going to interrogate me and look at me differently. And there's one last thing I want to say about my uncle. He is not anyone of significance. He's not someone that I could go to for mentoring advice or life coaching advice. And yet I revered his opinion of me, was scared of it actually. So if I can give you an actionable step on this part two video, is be careful who you allow to fearmonger you, because people that are insignificant, that mean nothing to you, that can't benefit your life in any way, and are you know that in the past they have said and done things to humiliate you. They can't keep a secret. These are family members who just blurt everyone else's secret out, or even the people that's telling the secret, knowing that it will get back to that person, that would spread the rumor. Um, tr- try not to hold those people's opinion of you very highly, please, because those people cannot benefit you in any way. They're not medical professionals. And as a matter of fact, you should stay far away from them. Get rid of them. No contact, which is what I did eventually to that uncle. Because, I mean, I stayed away my entire life from getting professional help when I needed it because I was scared that my uncle would go around and tell my family members that I was crazy. I was scared of the stigma. And the truth was, I was scared that I was really crazy. I was like, what if he's right and I'm crazy? What am I going to do now? Oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. And I want this live to reach someone who is struggling with neurodivergent symptoms. Um, Go ahead and tell your primary care physician. Your primary care physician will send a referral to a psychologist or a psychiatrist that can give you a psych eval and figure out what's going on with you so that you can get the help you need. Because suffering in silence and being scared of people that are going to spread rumors that don't mean anything to you is only going to put you in a worse off position. Because while they're moving on with their lives, I was stagnant. I had trouble focusing. I was really, really hyper on things that I shouldn't be and neglected things that were important in my life. And I really needed help. I needed therapy and I needed medication to help regulate um, my mania. And I needed therapy to talk about these things. Um, so if I could leave you with one actionable step is do not lie to your PCP or your medical professionals, whoever it is that can get you some help. If you suspect that you have neurodivergent symptoms, and the reason why I use the word neurodivergent is because not it. I have ADHD, but not everyone has ADHD. I've been diagnosed with by a very young psychologist and a very new psychologist with bipolar, and I felt like that psychiatrist was not listening to me, so I changed my psychiatrist. And the more experienced psychiatrist that has been practicing for 30 years said you do not have bipolar, you have unipolar. So I've been diagnosed with ADHD, unipolar, PTSD from childhood trauma, and my therapist, who is not qualified to do evaluations, have mentioned more than once that she may suspect personality, some sort of personality disorder, borderline personality disorder. The next time I do meet with my psychologist and my psychiatrist, I will mention that. I know the last time I did, my psychologist was really upset. He does not like when professionals try to diagnose people because they just, they're not professionals, they don't have the training, and they are not licensed to do so. So I will bring that up in our next session. But yeah, I will see you guys in part three, where I will tell you another reason. I'll go into depth of another reason why I lied to my doctor.